Mic placement.
When you place the mics on your drums, the position of the microphone is everything. Even if your drums sound great to the ear when you listen to them live, a bad mic placement can really change that. And remember a few things. If you place the mic if you've got your drum head like this and your mic is placed toward the very edge, you're going to get a lot more tone. If you place it like this, where it's aiming toward the center, you'll get more attack. This, obviously makes sense. But the way I've found that works for me is I like a lot more attack. Because remember this, it is much easier to take stuff out of the mix that you don't want than to add stuff in that's not there. You're going to be able to bring out a lot of tone from the drum even if you aim it straight at the center. You'll still be able to EQ a lot of tone out of the sound. But if you aim it toward the edge, you're not going to be able to get quite as much attack. A lot of people mic like this. It's just my preference to actually mic toward the center of the drum. It's also important to know that your mics need to be relatively close to the head, because if they're not, they're going to pick up everything else. You're going to hear all kinds of cymbals and stuff bleeding in through your tom mics specifically. Here's how I like to position my snare mic. It's going to pick up a good amount of overtones and a good amount of pop this way. It's a good mix of the two. Now, I don't use a bottom snare mic like a lot of drummers do, because later we can EQ the drum to get more snare, and these overheads are actually going to pick up a lot of the pop or the snap that most drummers want in their snare drum. For tom miking, I like to place the microphone where it's pointed straight at the center of the head, and it's also positioned fairly close to the head, and this way you get a lot more attack. Remember, we can bring the tone out later when we EQ the drums. Now this is for my 16-inch tom, but I use this same mic positioning for all the rest of my toms as well. For miking the bass drum, I use a somewhat unorthodox approach. I actually use two mics. This one at the back is to get more tone, and the one at the front is actually to get more attack. You can see I've muffled the bass drum a lot, like a lot of people do. I've even wedged a pillow between my floor tom and the front side of the head. And you also notice that I've taken off the resonant head, because I've found that when I record I get a much better attack sound, and I like a quick, short bass drum sound that decays quickly. Overheads are really important to your drum set because they provide a cohesiveness that your individual close mics on the rest of your drums can't really provide. There's a lot of debate over where and how to place the overheads, and there's no real right answer, but this is the way I like to do it. I like to place them pretty high above the drum set, with the one on the left facing the right side of the set, and the one on the right facing the left side of the set for a more even and full sound. Some people like to mic their hi-hats or their ride cymbal, or as I mentioned, the bottom of the snare drum. And there are even some setups where people have mic'd cymbals individually. I've found that overheads take care of the cymbals pretty well. I like the way they sound. I like the way they mix with the sound of my drums. So I haven't had a need to mic things separately. And I really like the sound that I'm getting. So in the future, I probably won't invest in mics to mic specific cymbals individually.